Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Zen podcast. In this episode, we're going to touch a little bit on the future relationship between two behemoths in the industry. We've got Cisco Meraki, and we've got Cisco. And we'll talk a little bit about how times are changing with regards to those two businesses and what it means for customers and solutions. And to help with that conversation, I've got three esteemed colleagues. I'm going to quickly provide some intros. So Andy, if you wouldn't mind.
Andy Dickinson, so I work in service development and I'm responsible for developing new technologies, specifically SD-WAN.
Thank you, Andy. Dave?
So I'm David Yates. I'm one of the network solutions architects in Zen. It does what it says, really.
Cool. Enzo?
Yeah, I'm Enzo Romano, network sales lead at Zen, and commercial lead for all of our engagements with the mid-market enterprise customers.
Wonderful. Thanks, Enzo. So we're going to have a little bit of an explore of this topic because it's an interesting and timely one. I'm going to start just by talking a little bit about the history of these businesses. So some of you will be aware, Cisco's been around a long time. They were the first business to commercialize routing equipment, so moving packets around what would have been the ARPANET became the internet as we know it today. And they pioneered this commodity as a physical device, so moving outside the lab, putting it into a production environment, moving it into business. So they've been involved in wide area networking since the early 80s. And consequently, in the industry, they're very similar to where IBM were. They are a brand name. You don't get fired for buying Cisco. We've also got Meraki. And Meraki is an interesting one because they started up as a cloud business. Because we're very used to that today. We hear about disruptive, transformational businesses, software-defined, originating in the cloud. Meraki is a business that kind of pioneered that. And their home turf is, or was, access point technology, so Wi-Fi. And the ethos was, let's make that simple. Let's make the process of building and deploying Wi-Fi networks really simple by putting it into the clouds and having really well-engineered, easy to drive, easy to manage equipment. And so these two businesses serve quite different markets initially. We have a LAN AP business and we have a WAN business in terms of Cisco. And over time, they've kind of been building out. So they've expanded their range of capabilities. So now you can have a full spread capability. With Meraki, you can have WAN and LAN. You can control it from a single pane of glass, and it's easy to drive. It's designed to be simple to deploy for those IT teams that are small, overworked, and just want things to function. Cisco does everything. So we've got LAN, we've got WAN, we've got security, big investments in security in the last 5 to 10 years. And of course, Cisco acquired Meraki. Probably, Andy, maybe about could be 10 years ago now. Feels like a long time ago. And since that acquisition, there has been a trend towards bringing these two technologies together. And that's going to bring some benefits and some new capabilities. And we're going to very quickly talk about what they are. So, Andy, would you mind just explaining, just at a high level, what that convergence is looking like from a technology point of view?
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of overlap in what both areas do. So Meraki and Cisco Catalyst have got very similar equipment, very similar devices, and it makes absolute sense to have the same piece of hardware to be able to perform both roles, and that's the direction of travel. And they've already started that. Sort of some devices are dual personality. They can be either in Meraki mode or they can be in Catalyst mode. And the future, the way it's been outlined to me, is that everything is going that direction so that you can choose which mode you want it to be in. The licensing model is going to be aligned between the two platforms. So it's going to be down to the individual use case, whether you want to use Meraki or Catalyst capabilities. The difference will be that Meraki, as you said, will be quite simple, quite streamlined. And if whatever you want to do fits within that model, it'll be perfect for you. Whereas the Catalyst one will be much more configurable, probably more complex, and give you more capabilities. But there's a trade-off from that, and it's going to be more expertise required to manage it and configure it. I think is the trade-off between the two.
And behind the curtain, some of the management platforms are going to converge as well, so that if you're an engineer or an administrator, you're going to be looking at the same environment.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far away this is completely, but they're introducing capabilities so that from one platform you can see into the other platform. And I think the aspiration is at some point is that you can have a single networking platform to allow you to manage and integrate with your Catalyst and your Meraki. Don't know how far away that is and whether they'll ever fully reach it, as in Cisco will. But there's definitely a lot more visibility if you've got a Catalyst SD-WAN, for example, but you want to see your Meraki LAN and Wi-Fi, you should be able to navigate through to see your Meraki LAN and Wi-Fi, and vice versa. And the UI that's being adopted is the Meraki UI. So the technology that underpins it is called Magnetic, and that's been adopted across all Cisco portfolio, so that you get the same look and feel when you log into any platform, so that the engineers or the operators know exactly where to go into in the menus to find the similar components.
And that's great in the sense that it's showing that Cisco are taking the best options and deploying them, because that is the better look and feel.
Yep.
Having seen the two, it definitely is. And so, Dave, what does that mean in terms of solutions? It sounds like there's more flexibility.
Yeah.
So what would that mean for future architectures? How would you envisage this technology kind of working side by side?
I think it is purely that, Stu. There's more tools available to us in the toolbox to solve problems. Previously you had to choose between one or the other, or take the compromise of having two isolated environments which you have to manage separately and which have limited visibility of what each other's doing. The fact that you can have, to your point, Andy, the best of both worlds from Cisco, Catalyst and Meraki in the same network for the same customer just gives, that additional scope. So you can have, potentially, if you have a traditional data center, heavy duty Catalyst switches doing the heavy lifting there, but on sites you can have Meraki switches and APs just providing, client access into the network. So yeah, it's a big step forward.
I guess in practice that means if you're, for example, a big retailer, you may have those big kind of boat anchor services running in your data center from Catalyst, but then out at branch, you'll have all the goodness of Meraki AP and Meraki Switch, and you're able to integrate the two, so you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly that.
Good. Okay. And on that basis, Enzo, I guess this means we've got the capability to, as Zen, we've got the capability to bring both of these technologies to the party. What would the business benefits be to customers, would you say?
I think the key one, if we just take Meraki, I would say obviously Meraki is a fairly mature offering. It's been around in the market for a number of years now, and as a result, it's quite a flooded market in terms of there's a lot of companies out there that will offer a Meraki service, all the way from the larger tier ones down to the partner space, the kind of raft of IT resellers and IT companies out there. I think where we add that value is we fit into a really nice sweet spot in that we have our own network. So a managed Meraki offering from Zen is, a kind of a full end-to-end service in that, we've got the integrity of our own network that we're managing, monitoring, and obviously overlaying the Meraki intelligence over the top. But it's an agile and bespoke service. So what we're seeing is, as Meraki is so bedded in, the service elements coming back into play. And again, I'm speaking to customers who have tier one partnerships, and the Meraki offering is quite rigid. And what they're finding is they don't have that level of flexibility to actually deliver against their requirements, because it's very much an off-the-shelf offering. So I think those are the benefits. It's the fact we can build that over the top of our extensive network. So we've got that scale, but equally, it's the flexibility with the right people to deliver a bespoke service and open up quite a lot of functionality from that Meraki system. Notwithstanding that, we've also got, I would call it, we've done the hard yards in terms of acquiring that Catalyst experience, because on the flip side, Catalyst is not a flooded market at all. There's very few companies in the UK that actually have that extensive mature experience around Catalyst. So I think we've got really good grounding to be able to deliver an end-to-end service.
Yeah, and that end-to-end is really key, isn't it? Because you can go really deep with Catalyst, Andy, and Meraki. It's has similar capabilities, but not. You're kind of trading some of that flexibility for simplicity. So you've got the easy to drive, but you don't have all the configurability that Catalyst can offer. So if you're a larger enterprise, you've got that reassurance that you've got something that can reach all the way up to multiple VRFs, different types of routing protocol support, access to many more connectivity options, and many more circuits delivered to a site, and so on. But you've also got the provenance of a LAN with Meraki, because they've got that history in Wi-Fi technology. And just a final thought around security, because Cisco's invested a lot in information security in recent years. Both of these platforms have security offerings, and they're converging as well. I know that Cisco have investing a lot in cloud-based technology for security. Can you give us a very high-level view of how that's shaping up, Andy?
Yeah, so there's a lot of progress around SSE. So it's basically a SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, and they've rebranded a lot of the components of Umbrella, like the Secure Internet Gateway, or redeploying it as SSE components. And all the technology, like the Meraki MXs, the Meraki switches, Meraki access points, the Cisco Catalyst devices, have all got integrations into those SSE components. There's also, we were talking earlier about authorizing users and making sure you can get you know what the identity of a user is. So that end-to-end visibility of who a user is that's connecting to a Wi-Fi access point and which rule they're going to use to get to the internet is really, really important as we get more and more complex and diverse networks. And those types of technologies are now available to us within the Meraki and the Catalyst portfolio.
So we can bring the same technologies into play, whether it's a Meraki device or a Cisco device, and it's pulling at either end of the chain, right? So when you enroll the device to the network, security's there. When you're talking to your cloud asset, security's there. And so you've got complete visibility all the way along that kind of journey from client to server, which I think is a really important capability. So I think it's a quick whistle stop tour, this one, because it is an evolving picture for us. We're a Cisco partner. We've got access to kind of the inside track of what's happening there. This convergence process has been happening gradually. It seems to be picking up pace. So as we learn more, we'll share more with the audience. And if anyone has any questions, wants to learn more about it, please come and contact Enzo, one of the team, and we'll be happy to provide some advice and support. So my final thoughts would be stay tuned. We'll get more information as it comes out. So thank you very much, team.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.